Yes, growing a business can be scary. Hello, welcome to the program. 3 years ago, we met a delightful couple building an organic wholesale food business. They were having issues with their marketing and their branding and their website. We sent in the business builders experts and boy, there have been some changes. Let's look back and recap first of all. Back in 2008, honest-to-goodness owners Matt and Karen Ward were taking their first tentative steps into producing a branded retail range of their organic and natural foods. To check they were heading in the right direction, I sent in brand builder extraordinaire, Tall Tim Pethick.
So, Matt, Karen, tell me, what is the biggest challenge that you're facing at the moment in terms of growing the business?
I guess what we're looking for is, if we've got this retail range, how do we tell the consumer when they're standing there that this is a quality product, it doesn't have all the rubbish in it? How do we tell them there while they're walking past our stand that's next to everyone else's stand in a shop?
The work that the brand has to do, in fact, is not to deliver all that communication. It can be there somewhere, but the work that the brand has to do initially is to engage people, is to attract their attention and evoke their curiosity, if you like. And so it's not so much the words that are important, but oftentimes the imagery, the colours, the shapes, the movement that you choose. And then the more complex messages like, preservative-free, no additives, no colours and so on and so forth, can all be there on a label or on an information sheet.
Yeah. So we have two different types of products. We've got the organic food products and we've got the natural food products, which ideally would be together in the same range to give people choice. But I've got a problem trying to show which products are organic and which products are natural, easy for the consumer to differentiate at the shelf. So can I just show you what I mean? So this is the packaging we've got for the product. It's very simple so that you can actually see the product. But what we need to show to the customer is what's organic and what's natural in the different ranges, even though they'll be together on the shelf.
I think my first response would be that it's too hard with a new brand that doesn't have currency in the marketplace to do the organic message and the natural message. You need to pick one or the other because it can't speak for both yet. So you need a singularity of personality and a singularity of purpose when you're building the brand. And once the brand is well known, then you can say, well, now we've got a natural range and we've got an organic range. So you need to pick the one that you're leading with and it's a hero. And the other thing that I'd say is that branding is about being the hero. And my view about that label is there's no hero. So I think you're trying to do too much with that label, and I think that probably stems from the fact that you're concerned about communicating a lot of information.
And the number of labels.
Well, that's the other thing. You're better off with two labels.
Yeah.
And have the information rich, the small text on the back, and just the big, powerful image or message, which is the hero of the brand, on the front. The great thing about branding is that you have multiple cues to create the hero form of engagement. So your brand name, honest to goodness, is one of those cues, although it sort of gets lost a bit in all that text.
Yeah.
But you can use visual imagery, for example, to convey an image of natural. The tone of voice that you use in terms of the copy conveys a message. So it's not just about communicating the information with a text-rich environment. It's about using a whole bunch of different cues to communicate the hero-ness, if you like, of the brand.
After the break, did Matt and Karen manage to crack the branding nut? I revisit them to find out.
We totally changed the direction that we were going in.
Three years on, I'm revisiting organic and natural food business Honest to Goodness to find out how they've been going and if Tim's branding advice hit the sweet spot. Hey guys, how are you, Matt? Good to see you. Karen, when are you due?
3 weeks.
Oh, not long at all. Now, when we visited last time, you had 2 kids.
Yeah.
What number's this?
This is number 4.
And you built a business at the same time?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, been busy.
You were as grey last time, I think, but anyhow. Tell us what you've done to the business, because last time we visited, way back in 2008, Tim was very big on your branding of your product, which Not sure you were that convinced of. He was pretty hard in saying, look, you're putting a commodity in there. Everybody's got it. You've got to differentiate yourself through your branding. And by the look of it, you've done it.
It's hard when someone, I guess, critically appraises something that you put a lot of time and effort into. But so it was, I guess, a difficult pill to swallow. But we sort of sat down, had a look at it, and thought pretty much everything he said had merit. So after we sort of got over the initial shock, we sat down and really took it on board. And yeah, as a result, we totally changed the direction that we were going in.
That is a really big job, though. And Tim was suggesting it could cost you a lot of money, which would be pretty daunting too, to go to a flash ad agency. Did it?
Tim's advice was that it could cost around $50,000, $60,000. And I mean, we sat down and looked at it and just thought, there's no way we can do that. But we had made the decision to rebrand. And so I guess, you know, innovation comes from desperation, maybe. We sat down and worked out the best way to do it, and we were lucky enough to find a guy who did design and graphic art and reasonably priced, and yeah.
So how did you test and do all that sort of stuff to make sure you got the right look?
Firstly, he presented us with 5 different concepts, and we sort of merged all the things we liked from those 5 different concepts and stuck them on packets, and would actually go into shops and put them in there and see if those colours worked and how it looked compared to other people's products as well that we were competing against.
Because surprisingly, I guess some of the designs that looked fantastic on their own, when you actually went and compared them or put them in a shop on the shelf, they didn't have the appeal that they had visually on their own.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, it's fantastic, the look of it. I bet you get lots of comments and great positive feedback.
Yeah, no, it's all been good.
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
good.
that's terrific. OK, so tick that one, which is great, and you did all the legwork yourself, kept the costs under control. Now, tell us about coping with growth, though. All right, compare the business to 3 years ago. You had 2 or 3 staff.
I think we had 3 people, yeah.
Right, now,
I think we've got 26.
how many outlets do you sell through now?
We're about 350 different shops that buy our food.
Wow, that is just phenomenal. So how are you guys coping individually with running a much bigger business?
Yeah, my job today is completely different to what it was 3 years ago, with, you know, more people around and more products in our range and much bigger numbers happening. So
Do you like the fact that your job's changed?
it's kept it interesting, yeah, I do, but I also, it becomes very apparent very quickly that where your shortcomings are, because when you make the wrong decisions and it's all happening on a bigger scale,
What's the hardest?
I think for me the hardest thing is that we've got some fantastic people working here, and I'm not very good at handing control of some of the things that I know that I'm not particularly good at. I'm not particularly good at handing them over to other people and just letting them run with it. So I hand it over, then I keep butting back in, and
Okay.
so I think probably got to get better at not feeling like it's all part of me, and sort of.
So the challenges have switched a bit from 3 years ago to business challenges to management challenges now.
Yeah.
Because with staff, you've got to set the culture, you're the motivator, you're the disciplinarian, you're the personal counsellor, you're everything, isn't it? It's huge.
Yeah, and it's a big responsibility as well, you know, and there's financial responsibilities that come as well. So yeah, they're quite a different skill set, and I'm not sure I got them all.
Well, can we help again? You know, can we
That'd be great.
hook you up with an expert that sort of will take you through those sorts of things, mentor you in those areas?
That would be great.
This business building block is brought to you by Allianz Business Insurance.
Risk is a part of everyday life, and running a business is no exception. However, as a business owner, you should ensure work safety and to continually push towards minimising risk in your business. This should be done through careful planning and preventative action. One way to reduce risk is to put together a risk management program. Try using the SAFE risk management model in your business. Spot the hazards, assess the risks, fix the problems, evaluate the results. As your business changes, it's vital to continually assess if the risk levels are changing too, and to update your risk management program accordingly. Part of this assessment should also include reviewing your insurance to ensure you still have the right level of cover. You can inquire online or talk to one of our friendly and experienced consultants who will assist you. So, with a risk management program and adequate insurances in place, you can get the peace of mind of knowing you are well on the road to minimising the risk to your business.
Contact your broker. Call Allianz on 131000 or visit allianz.com.au for a product disclosure statement or policy document to decide if Allianz is right for you. After the break, we visit this week's Business in the Spotlight, interior design firm Pure Interiors. And later in the show, Matt gets a management makeover. This Business in the Spotlight is brought to you by Allianz.
Hey, I'm Joel Schmidt from Pure Interiors. We offer a service to do qualified design work where we do everything that's included in the inside of a house. So curtains, rugs, flooring, walls, colors, lighting and furniture obviously as well. Everything is included. And then we supply the products as well. We are at the PURD building in Waterloo in Sydney. The quality of the building or the companies that are in here is very high, so that really matches with the business and the products we do as well. I came to Australia 2 years ago and I always would love to have my own business. It was always a dream of mine. So we have a really strong relationship with our clients back and forth. It's a teamwork, it's a relationship work. The most enjoyable point for me is when I sell a project. So when I do the presentation and the client is actually very happy and pleased with what you have done. And I think then definitely as well the point when you do the project and when you finish it and everything is in place and it looks stunning and the client is happy and is hugging you and tell you how happy they are, that's definitely one of the most beautiful points as well. Because I'm from another country, it was for me harder to find out what is actually needed when you found a company in Australia. Then I could see that I would need to have a public liability insurance for when you sign a lease. We needed to have workers' compensation because we have employees, and we needed to have a business insurance as well to run the business. I got 3 quotes. One of them was a little bit less expensive, but was very hard to read. Then the other one was very expensive, and I felt that it isn't cut for our business. And Allianz, when I rang the number, was very short talk we had, and I could feel they have exactly what I would need. And while we were talking, the email already arrived in my inbox, and the girl who serves me, her name is Nikki, was sensational the way she did it. That really touched me as well, on top of everything else. For us, customer service is very important. What I experienced with Allianz was definitely number one customer service. And in Australia, I find it sometimes difficult because I'm not from here to find my way through. And with this absolute perfect service I experienced with Allianz, it was helping me to find my way to get the insurance I actually needed.
Contact your broker. Call Allianz on 131000 or visit allianz.com.au for a product disclosure statement or policy document to decide if Allianz is right for you. After the break, Matt from Honest to Goodness gets some help with his main management challenges, managing people and delegation.
I think one of the problems people have in delegating is not saying what they want by when, and then actually holding them accountable.
Having grown the business rapidly, Honest to Goodness owner Matt Ward now feels that his management skills are not where they should be for leading a business with over 20 staff. To help, I've sent in Elizabeth Lennon, the Managing Director of The Leader Factor, a firm that consults on leadership performance and talent management.
So what do you think your talents are? What do you think got you here?
I don't know. Like, I love what I do, and I love the food that we sell, eat the food that we sell, and I like the relationship side of the business, and I like numbers, but probably lack communication skills, I think. I have expectations, but I don't communicate the expectations.
It also seems to me you have a lot of energy, a lot of drive, a lot of action orientation. You know, you like to get in there,
Yep.
touch, feel it.
Yep.
Do you think you ever do that because you're avoiding something you don't like to do or you don't feel as confident about?
Yeah.
So what would that be?
I think managing people, I don't feel like I have the skills to do it.
Why do you think that? What's the evidence for that?
I guess I've never really done it. And I've sort of taken the view that, you know, if people see the way I work and how I apply myself, that they'll see that as a lead and follow.
Well, what happens is if you aren't clear about what outcome you want them to achieve and if it's an important process, how you think it could be done,
Yep.
if you're not clear about that, people will fumble around. But also, you'll get yourself into a trap if you keep dipping back in,
Yeah.
because then you create dependency, and people always go, you know, Matt's going to fix it.
Yeah.
I think in setting expectations, the basics of it is you having an idea about what you want that person to achieve,
Yep.
and then collaborating with them. Because I think if you think this is what this role should achieve and they don't understand it that way, well, it could be that they're just not getting it, but it could also be that they've seen a contribution in that role that might be a bit broader.
I like a collaborative approach.
Yeah.
And I think we're a stronger business because of others' input as opposed to just Karen and I stipulating what to do.
So you're already telling me you have a really core strength in people management, which is that you respect people's input and you want to include them.
I do want to include them, and I think we're a better business when we include the people who work here. But no, I don't feel like it's a core strength. I feel a little bit out of my depth.
Well, managing people is actually something that most managers learn by experience.
Right, the hard way.
Yeah, they don't all start off fantastic.
Yeah.
But, you know, a core to it is that setting expectations. There's also delegating, which is an offshoot of setting expectations.
Yeah, and I'm not so good at the delegation, I would add.
I think a lot of delegation is also about self-discipline. That, you know, you actually become clear about the outcome. You sit down with people, you talk it through, you check in with them, have they understood what it is that you want them to achieve, and you agree with them when you'll come back and monitor it. I think one of the problems people have in delegating is not saying what they want by when,
Yeah.
and then actually holding them accountable.
Okay.
So I think team meetings where you do that, and also you just have to do performance management and performance development as you get bigger in a business. You know, I think particularly because of the values base of the organisation, you have to talk to people about their development.
Yeah.
How are they going to build their skills?
Yeah.
What can they learn on the job? You know, most of the evidence and the research today about how people learn is that they learn best on the job with guidance and mentoring and support from their manager. So I think, Matt, as you move from more than managing to leading the business, because this is quite an inspirational business, and I think the difference between management and leadership, I don't think it's, as people say, it's a completely different beast. I think you have to be a good manager, which is all about establishing those teams, setting the expectations, delegating appropriately, the discipline of not touching everything, letting people use their initiative. I think you do have to do all those things. Another part of managing is monitoring and planning, but the leadership part is about setting direction, inspiring people. And I think it's also a key thing of leadership, particularly because none of us have unlimited time, is to think about where you place your time and your attention. So, you know, I think part of that's working to your strengths, and you said one of your strengths is relationships and ideas. So putting your time and attention around the ideas for growth in the business and the key relationships,
Yep.
external relationships and internal relationships. But I think also always, you know, practically just asking yourself, is this a good use of my time? Am I paying attention to the things that really matter in this business? You know, you'll always go into doing things that you want, as a way of avoiding something you don't like to do or something that's new.
Sure.
And as you move into a leadership role, there's probably, we've been talking about a whole lot of things that are new to you. So you've got to be, it's a discipline to be careful that you are not going and just fiddling around in the business, doing something, getting hands-on because you're avoiding testing yourself out at that next level.
Dried inca berries, black chia seeds. I can feel another recipe coming on. I'm thinking more Waldorf salad-y type thing. Go to the website to find out my latest creation, yahoo7.com.au/small business. And while you're there, check out what Matt and Karen thought of the advice and even more tips from our experts. yahoo7.com.au/small business. I'll see you next time. Next week, we revisit a business owner who's achieved stellar success since we first met him, celebrity patisserie chef Adriana Zumbo. And to keep up with all things small business, follow us on Twitter @Kochie'sBiz. Oh, and Matt and Karen had a baby girl, Madison.